Hey guys, AJTBLS here, coming to you covering the first covered game from my last tournament series, being the ACS 6. We're going to cover Dino versus LaBounty. LaBounty is a friend of mine, really good player and really tricky player. So this is a really tough matchup. Before the duel starts, um, I would have bet on LaBounty to win this one. I'm not insulting Dino at all, but I'm just kind of just saying who I think is favored in the matchup. Without seeing the deck list and without any other prior information, I would take LaBounty. I'm not saying that it'd be like a massive favorite, but that's probably who I would think that would win the duel. So I would say that Dino is in for a good matchup here and needs to play really well to win this, and also need to draw well, right? So we're going to look at both hands, and we're going to try to commentate on the duel in a way where we can not be biased. So we're going to try to have a focus on um, how we would play it in Dino's perspective, not knowing LaBounty's hand. So we can't be biased because we know the cards, right? And Dino does not. So we're going to go over this in detail. I'm hoping that this can be under 30 minutes, and we've covered Dino's deck actually is in the prior video explaining the ACS and whatnot. I'll also put a link to LaBounty's deck as well. They finished 5th, and I feel like they deserve some coverage as well because they did play the champion. So let's go ahead and start. So we have fun, good luck, and we're already going second in the duel. We're gonna mute the sounds because I think it'd be annoying. So we have Dino going second, and let's get started here. Okay, so from LaBounty's perspective, we have a pretty strong hand. I'm not going to focus on every play from LaBounty's perspective, but more from Dino's because Dino is the champion, and we're going to more cover it from there. But I think it's pretty standard here what LaBounty should do. He should discard his Thunder Dragon and go from there, obviously. I don't know if he should use Charity right away, but he absolutely can. He has 2 great discards. Let's see what they choose to do, and they do use the Charity. Seems good. Also drew a Serpent, so you discard the Serpent and the Thunder Dragon, and he sets the Magician right away, which I feel is aggressive, but why not? The double back row, in my opinion, is not needed, but it's going to work out for him in this case because Dino does not have Heavy Storm. So, I like this. Dino here is feeling like, okay, he just used Charity. It's very possible that LaBounty could be rush setting Magician of Faith, which is what I feel Dino is thinking. That's a staple ran in these turbo decks. Obviously, he's running Magician, and he doesn't really want that Charity to resolve again. So he's going to make him work for his Magician here because of the effect of Blade Knight. So if Blade Knight attacks and destroys something that's face down, the effect monster is negated. The flip effect monster is negated as long as Dino only controls one card, being Blade Knight. No other monsters, sorry. So yeah, I don't really think there's much of an option actually from Dino's perspective, but to swing with Blade Knight in this circumstance. One could maybe make the argument of swinging with DD Warrior Lady if you have like a strong read that it's Sangan right now, but I think swinging with Blade Knight's absolutely fine and the correct optimal play. So LaBounty's like, okay, I have a good discard for my Regeki Break. I probably play 2 or 3 of them. Regeki Breaks, I can afford to use 1 right now, discard the Thunder Dragon, even though my Serp's in the grave, which is obviously the optimal discard, because you can pick it up and stand by. But I'll discard my Thunder Dragon to protect my flip effect, which is absolutely correct. And what I think is the correct play. And then Dino sets both Ring and Solemn, which is absolutely correct in this circumstance. And yeah, absolutely standard so far. So here, LaBounty will pick up his Serp, and he will flip the Magician. Yeah. And he Solemns this. So, okay, this is an aggressive Solemn in my perspective. I feel like I run Solemn, 3 Solemns in almost all of the decks I play just because I like to play aggro. And any sort of variant, whether it be Turbo, whether it be Warriors, I run Solemn. And I'm not sure if I would Solemn this here. But I feel like Dino is feeling like, okay, if I let this Charity resolve, I'm going to be so behind that it might not be winnable. So yeah, I think the Solemn's fine, and I actually think it's good. So I think it's a good play. I'm just trying to think from my perspective if I would at first. But looking at the graveyard, it would only put another light in there. I think it's the correct play, and this Solemn is good. I completely agree with it upon second thought. So yeah, that Solemn's going to go through. And now LaBounty's thinking, okay, I'm up 4,000 life points and I'm up cards. I wouldn't be surprised to see LaBounty either just naked swing with Tribe for 16 or set Spy. And he chooses to set Spy, which is probably the better play. This is strange to me, and I like it. I like to see strange plays. I'm not saying I agree with this play, but he chooses to swing with the Koichi. Um, this is something I definitely would not have done. I would have either set Spy myself or attacked DD Warrior Lady. I think that attacking with the Koichi is a mistake, regardless of how this duel goes. I do think attacking with the Koichi in this circumstance is a mistake, but we'll see how this plays out. And LaBounty, of course, doesn't use his back rows for this, and we're going to be taking 600 and also giving LaBounty a +1 here. And let's see now. So he chooses to snatch steal the Koichi, which is good. He has Book of Moon. And it looks like we're just going to swing for game. This is lethal. So yeah, now Dino even comments that wasn't great, not going to lie, GG. Yeah, this is absolutely game. He doesn't summon anything, and Dino only has Ring here. So this was kind of reckless game one by Dino. I disagree with the swinging with the Koichi. I think that's the only mistake. Using Solemn on the Charity seemed fine. Kind of a broken open by LaBounty, but regardless, from that circumstance, I think that Dino did not play game one well, and I hope to see a better game 2 and 3. All right, so yeah, don't know the sides that's going in, but if you take a look at both the deck lists, you can maybe make some assumptions. Maybe Dino cuts down on his Book of Moon count. Maybe puts in the extra Trap Dust Shoot because they're going to be going first. So yeah, let's see now what happens. Okay, so yeah, he puts in the Mind Control, which is a sided card from his deck, if you take a look at the previous first video. So this doesn't surprise me. This is a good side. And we're holding on to the Charity here, which seems good because we don't know exactly what we're looking for. So that's fine by me, just setting the Spy and then setting the Solemn. If you're going to set Solemn, though, I would actually set more cards because you're kind of wanting to take away the value of like a Delinquent Duo, and obviously I can see the hand. But if this is something I do, if I do open a Solemn, I'll just commit fully to the board. I don't care to use it. If I get Heavy Stormed, I'll just use the Solemn, and that's an advantage of kind of going first. You get to take away the possibility of getting Trap Dust Shooted because all your cards are down, and also take away the value of Delinquent Duo. Okay, so yeah, he does do it. Awesome. Awesome. Exactly what I would like to see here from Dino. Exactly what I'd like to see. So this is the reason why someone who opens a Solemn and 5 spell traps will just, or 4 other spell traps will just set their entire hand. They get no value from Duo, they get no value from Dust Shoot, and also it's like kind of like a guessing game, like what did I set, where are the positions, you know a Solemn's down. So yeah, so let's see, and now your opponent's kind of hesitant because they know they have such a strong back row, and it also forces your opponent to commit spell traps of their own. So in LaBounty's perspective, this is absolutely correct. You don't set the SERP; it's too early; it might get knocked. You don't set nothing because you could be taking a ton of we could be taking some damage, and you don't want to get duoed yourself. There's no reason to also not give up your normals. You should normal summon this turn. So setting the Night Assailant seems fine. Keeping the SERP in hand for the Geki Break discard, and setting the Duo because it's a good bluff card and useless in this circumstance all seems good. All right, so if I'm Dino here, I would maybe even wait another turn for the Charity. I don't see any value for it. So yeah, so now Bounty says, basically what the hell's going on? What a weird deck. See Shining Angel. So yeah, now because he has Solemn set, he can kind of just go all in. I would actually wish that we've seen an MST, this end phase MST used on one of these back rows, but that's fine that he didn't. And we Mind Control the set, so potential targets that he was looking for realistically. We know that he would not set his Magician because there is no spells in LaBounty's grave. So this mind control here, best case scenario, I guess, is we're going to see another Gravekeeper, so we can bring out our third if we play a third, which I believe he does. Second best case scenario is seeing a Dekoichi, and third best case scenario, realistic case scenario, right? Because LaBounty could choose to set anything he wants, but I'm just talking realistically, is probably the Knight Assailant to take away the potential effect from LaBounty. And now we're just going to swing for 26. I wish we actually swung with this Spy as well, because we have a back row to protect it, but for more damage. But that's fine. I guess leaving in the defense is more cautious. And so we swing for 1200. LaBounty's kind of forced to use Regeki Break on the Angel. That's fine. The Angel does have to be dealt with because we don't from LaBounty's perspective, we don't know Dino's deck, so we have to deal with the Angel once. We have to deal with the Angel eventually. So using it now seems fine. Okay, so we draw Royal Decree. I think we just set and end. Yeah, that's exactly what we see. And now we just swing with Gravekeeper to take out the Knight Assailant. That seems fine. Okay, just one moment here. Going to take a quick pause. Okay, so we get the... So LaBounty uses his back row here to target the face down and snipes the Koichi. That seems okay. I don't know if you need to do it right away. Maybe see the card you draw first because you're going to pick up the Serp and stand by anyways. But that doesn't seem wrong. It just seems maybe a tad bit aggressive because in my opinion they're down cards right now and I need to make... I would rather just save the Geki for a different opportunity and just to see what I draw. Okay, and then Dino just rips Pot off the top, and that's going to obviously go through. Now he mind controls the Serp. So now this is again where I'm going to disagree with this play by Dino. Right? So if we're going to use a mind control here, and we know that LaBounty has Serp, it's already been exposed to us on 2 occasions. If we look at LaBounty's grave, there's no spell cards, right? So there's a 0% chance that this is going to be a Magician of Faith. In my opinion, I think LaBounty would never set a Magician of Faith here, especially after they've seen a mind control earlier in the duel. So I think this is a huge mistake and a waste of a card. But I guess we're going to be able to swing for some damage now. We take it, and we know it's Serp. But this is kind of a punt, in my opinion. This is a bad play. It's very likely that the set card is Serpent. We already burned one of the Knight Assailants, and we don't even know if that they play Spy, because we didn't see it at all in the first duel, if I'm correct. So, yeah, this is a mistake. But okay, we take it. We see it Serp. I think they should flip it up and put it. Actually, no. Leaving it face down is better. And now LaBounty is just forced to take damage. Can't really do anything here. And if we're Dino, we're in the complete driver's seat. We're still holding a Charity. We're still holding a Mirror Force. We're still holding a Solemn, and we still have an MST. That's going to get dealt with by the MST. And yeah, so now LaBounty is kind of back against the wall here. They have to make a play, or they're just going to lose, right? So the only play that they can make, in my opinion, is ramming this Magician of Faith into a Spy to give you that light and dark in the grave, and you try to bring out BLS. So I think that's the only play that LaBounty has, and I knew that, I did not watch this before, I swear, but this is the only play that LaBounty has, in my opinion. So yeah, so you're going to ram it into a Spy. You're going to let it go through if you're Dino, and then this has to get solemned, right? Yeah, okay, so this gets solemned, and that's the game. So, couple interesting plays by Dino. I think that they were just kind of fortunate that they opened extremely well. They didn't even have to use their Charity. And LaBounty kind of opened pretty poorly, below average. Dino made, in my opinion, one bad play. And LaBounty made one questionable play with the Geki in that game too. But overall, like, if you draw well in Yu-Gi-Oh and you know how to play your cards and you're competent, you're probably going to win that game. So, um, whatever, that game was okay. We're going to go to now game 3. And LaBounty's going to go first, and they're looking to open a strong hand. Let's taking a look at LaBounty's hand up here. And okay, so not the strongest, but not the weakest hand. We like that we have Geki. We like that we have Serp. So here, I think we just set the Koichi, and maybe we even set that Book of Moon. But I don't even know if the Book of Moon is necessary. Maybe we could even set the Koichi and the Geki. Either are good. So yeah, that's what we choose to do. Okay, and we set the book. Don't like this at all. If our opponent opens heavy, we just gave them a free +1, and we're losing 2 really valuable cards. So again, they're fortunate that they don't have it, but that's fine. We summon the angel and attack, then we use knock. This is absolutely standard and probably the only play. So, okay, we lose 3 to Koichi, and Bounty loses 2. And we swing for 14. This, if I'm LaBounty, I might deal with right away. Or I might just let it go. But we don't know, if we're LaBounty looking at it from his perspective, what we can search with Angel, right? I mean, obviously, we assume that they play a DD Warrior Lady, because if you're playing 3 Angels or you've seen a Shining Angel, you can just assume to see the Lady. So, I don't know if we might just let this go. If I was LaBounty, I might just take the 1400, but eventually this Angel does need to be dealt with. So let's see what happens. And LaBounty chooses to take damage. So that's probably the better play. And now we set 2 back row, and so LaBounty feels like, okay, I can't get Dust Shoot here. I must deal with these 2 spell traps, one of them, and he hits the... So now he kills the Angel? Okay, so interesting play. Chooses to take the damage, then destroy the Angel. So I'm just trying to think of reasons why we would do this, and the only one that comes to mind is that we don't want our opponent to know that we're going to deal with the Angel, and we want them to commit to this back row, putting down 2 spell traps, or more spell traps, and not giving the information of what to set. That is the only potential reason to choose to use the Regeki break after taking the 1400 damage. There is no other reason. I was hoping to see that this Regeki break would target a spell trap. I think that this play is actually pretty weird by LaBounty. I don't know why you take the 1400 if you're going to deal with the Angel. Anyways, I think that dealing with the Angel is fine, right? Using Regeki break is fine, but then why take the 1400 in battle phase? But whatever, 1400 isn't that much. So now LaBounty draws into heavy, right? And he has a decision in standby phase. And the decision is, do I voluntarily pick up this Serpent? Because if we get Dust Shoot here, we're in really, really, really bad shape. We give our opponent information of our hand. They see we have Sorcerer. They see we have the Breaker. And they see we have Heavy. So LaBounty's kind of in a situation where I don't even know if I would pick up the Serpent this turn. I personally would probably not pick it up. And the reason being is I don't have a discard in standby phase. If I had this Regeki break, if this was Regeki break, I would pick it up for sure, right? I would just pick it up. They would use Trap Dust Shoot. I would say, okay, I'll use my Regeki break now, discard the Serpent, and kill the other spell trap with it, because I'll just pick up my Serpent after Trap Dust Shoot resolves. So let's see if LaBounty chooses to pick up their Serpent, and they pass. I love that. This is a really, really good high IQ play by LaBounty, choosing not to pick up Serpent, making the read that it's very possible that they have Trap Dust Shoot, and this is well done. Alright, so Dino is now left with the decision, do I let this Breaker get a complete +1 off of me, right? This Breaker is going to be a high value Breaker that's going to swing for 1600, and it's also going to take out a spell trap. So if you're Dino, you're deciding whether or not right now that you're going to be using the Solemn, be down 4,000 life points. And if I'm Dino, looking at my graveyard, I have a light already there. I have a dark in my hand. I have Mirror Force. I might use this Solemn right now. I might just pay the 4,000 and say, I need to protect my Dust Shoot. I need to protect my Solemn. And by paying the 4,000, you're also bluffing that this card, being the Trap Dust Shoot, which LaBounty does not know for sure what it is, obviously, you're bluffing that it's really important. So I think that I would solemn here, but let's see what Dino does. And he says, no, I value my life points. I'm not going to pay the 4,000. And you're basically only saving 2,600 life points here by not using the solemn. And also, it's a 50-50 chance you lose your solemn anyway. So I think this is a mistake by Dino, but that's fine. He chooses not to. He's playing conservative, and he's going to take 1,600 here. And now LaBounty sets heavy, which is a good play because now he's basically inviting Dino to the spell trap zone, saying, okay, like it's safe. Like I have 2 spell traps of my own. You could feel free to commit to the spell trap. And we know that one of the Solemns are gone, so this is fine. I like the setting of heavy. It's a good bluff there. Dino draws another Solemn. Doesn't shuffle the hand, but that's okay. And look at that. Because LaBounty sets Storm, we got Dino to commit to the field. Now, obvious, you pick up your Serpent. Good, because we're under that 4-card limit. And if I am LaBounty here, kind of sucks that we drew the other Sork. We're kind of bricking. I might lay off using the Heavy Storm right now because it doesn't really accomplish much. I can't really push any damage with it, and I'm also going to be destroying my back row. But LaBounty disagrees with me. He uses the Heavy, and we bait out a Solemn. This is a win for LaBounty here because we couldn't really do anything anyways. So now if I'm LaBounty, I'm going to attack this face down. Unfortunately, it's going to be a Spy, and then I'm going to set Serp. But let's see what happens. I do not use Mirror Force if I'm Dino. And good, we don't. Just let him take the 400 and we get the +1. And we set Serp. Exactly right. Oh, so this is like the worst draw for Dino. He draws the 3rd Spy. Really unfortunate draw, but I guess that's what happens in this game. So here I would just set the Spy and end my turn. Attacking the face down is... It's actually probably correct, because if this face down is like a Dokoichi or a Night Assailant or something, you want to deal with it and you want to kill it and remove it from the board, or else they're going to get like a full +1 from a Dokoichi, right? Like they get to keep their monster, it's a 1,400 beat stick, and also it just drew +1. So I like this. Attacking with Spy, especially because you just draw another one, this is a good play by Dino, and this is good game awareness as well. And also, if you kill the Serpent, which you know they have, they might pick it up in standby phase, and you could finally get a chance to resolve your Dust Shoot. So this is well played by Dino. Not setting the other Spy seems okay as well. You don't need to commit more monsters to the board. And now LaBounty has no choice but to pick up the Serpent, as this card destruction could be really juicy, getting rid of 2 absolutely dead Sorks and also getting that free draw off Serp. So he's he's thinking about it, even types in, So he knows that once he picks up the Serp, it could be very possible you're going to get Trap Dust Shooted. And he's like, okay, YOLO, I'm going to pick it up. And now here comes the Trap Dust Shoot, and unfortunately he gets hit by it, and that Serpent is going back to the deck. If you're LaBounty now, like card destructioning for a -1 kind of sucks. I might wait 1 turn, but I mean, you're not in threat of losing the game right now, right? You're still at 6,200. You still have this 1,600 beater in attack. I might just attack. Like I'm still going to attack. I'm not gonna say like, oh, you're not supposed to attack because like you're in a circumstance where you need to protect yourself or whatever. You still need to try to kill this Spy, and you're gonna be hit by Mirror Force for sure, most likely by Mirror Force, but you still have to try. But I don't really know if I'm going to use my card destruction here for the Sorks. But let's see what LaBounty chooses to do. All right, so he uses card destruction. The 2 Sorks are... so yeah, he says he knew it about the Serp, which is why he chose not to pick it up earlier. So good read, but he had no choice now. His back's against the wall, had to pick it up. And by him using card destruction here, he's basically telling his opponent, like, okay, I don't really have much I could do to deal with the circumstance here. I have in this case, he has a Book of Moon and just a Breaker. He's not really in a good position, even though he's up in life points. But yeah, I guess card destructioning here is probably absolutely good. Your opponent knows you have 2 Sorks, and you need to get rid of them. And LaBounty draws into a Magician and draws into Mirror Force. Pretty good pulls. Yeah, so you attack. This is going to definitely get Mirror Force. Can't let your opponent get a free +1. And I like this. Set the Mirror Force and set the Magician. I mean, it'll really suck if Dino tops heavy, but I guess you're kind of in a position where you have to risk it. And here he's using Charity, which is a good this is good awareness of your game state surroundings, right? Dino is basically like, okay, I know my discards aren't going to be great from this, but I need to dig through my deck. I need Heavy Storm. I need Knock. I need Protection. And just a Blade Knight right now is not going to do it for me. So he has to use Charity here, which he does. And wow, he just rips BLS, and he already has the Light Dark in the grave. So if I'm Dino here, I'm pitching the Blade Knight and I'm pitching the Lady. I'm going to summon the BLS in defense, and I'm going to call priority, take care of this face down, and I'm either going to swing for 1200 or 2400, maybe even 0. But I'm definitely going to swing. Oh, no, no. He chooses to attack it. Okay, so I'm like kind of speechless because this works out for him. LaBounty using his Mirror Force here, I get it. Like, you want to protect your monster, but like letting this resolve isn't the end of the world. I mean, you have two poor targets, but for spell traps. But at the end of the day, it does put a light in your grave, and you get to take like a heavy, or you'd probably take Heavy Storm just for like future streets. And I get it. He wants to protect his only monster. And I might be being situational biased because I can see that he has a BLS here. But from LaBounty's perspective, I don't know if I use Mirror Force here because, again, you're just protecting Magician of Faith, and putting a light in your grave isn't the end of the world. But okay, to Dino, this is like, wow, I just got a 1-for-1 on a Spy, which I originally flipped up for +1, and I have it in attack mode, and I don't care for it at all because I have a BLS, and I got to milk out a Mirror Force. I love this. So if I'm Dino, I'm loving life here. He's getting Mirror Force, and now this should be in defense position to avoid your opponent ramming for a light, but he disagrees. And yeah, you put down the Solemn, and now you're up like 3 cards to 1, and you have a protected BLS. Drawing Night Assailant here. I think you have to just not do anything and just take damage. This is good, putting them both in attack, because if it's Mirror Force, it's going to get dealt with anyways. And if it's Sakuretsu, it's also like going to get dealt with if it targets BLS. You're going to Solemn it. So yeah, and now you have no choice but to just take. I would take all the damage, and that's what LaBounty chooses to do. And setting the Mind Control as a bluff seems fine. Now he draws the Ring of Destruction. This is okay. So now this is going to get mind controlled, and he's just going to swing for game, which is what's going to happen. Like, now it's GG. I might let this go through. If I'm Dino, I don't Solemn this. I'm fine with giving him one more turn. But let's see what he chooses to do here. He does choose to Solemn the book, which is extremely aggressive, because guess what? Like, this is now a draw, right? Holy smokes, it's a draw now. I swear this is like, I haven't watched this, but like, just let the book go through. I know the Night, like, you can just flip up the Night Assailant and they don't get the effect, right? Because you just mind controlled it, you'll just flip it up and have no targets. I don't really know what the value is of Solemning there. Like, there's no rush to end the game like right now. So this is a mega mistake by Dino Solemning the book. But I mean, what do I know? He ended up winning the tournament, but that's like a huge mistake. Yeah, so he admit that he wasn't patient enough, and LaBounty says, I hoped. So LaBounty squeaked his way into a draw there, and that's well played by LaBounty. So yeah, it is a new rock, paper, scissors, and Dino's now going to get to go first, being our game 4. Really well played last game by LaBounty, just unfortunate for him. Here, if you're LaBounty, you discard your dragon, and you get the +1, and now you just set your Dekoichi, maybe set ring or the decree with it. Okay, that seems fine. Now if you're Dino, I would have end phased MST'd one of these, but he chooses not to. And now we're just going to summon both of these, then we're going to swing. Oh, geez, 1 second. I got to turn off notifications for Discord. Okay, so now if I'm Dino, this is exactly what I would do. I would summon either the Breaker or the Sangan. Both seem fine. I'm actually more inclined to summon the Sangan in this circumstance because I have a back row, and it's possible, like, if I break something here, it might not be the highest value. It's chainable. So I like this play by Dino. This is an aggressive but like good play because, like, okay, if you mirror force this, like, I'm just gonna get to be able to search from Sangan, and you only get to mirror force an Angel. And swinging for 2400 seems good. And the Nobleman has to come down here, so fine by me. This is a good play. And both of these are gonna go through. Okay, so he chooses to ring on the Angel. That's fine. That's probably well done. And he chooses to MST here, which doesn't fully make sense to me. But maybe LaBounty had his reasons for it. The reason why it doesn't make sense is like this card could have been chainable, right? Like imagine if this was something chainable to it, but there's nothing really to target. So maybe that makes sense by LaBounty. If I'm LaBounty here, my hand is a complete brick. I don't have a light and dark. Really sucked that I lost my Dekoichi here. I might just set the knock or the decree as a bluff. So let's see what he chooses to do. And he sets the decree and the knock. So now I'm bringing down Breaker for sure. No. Dino chooses not to, which I think is a mistake. I think bringing down Breaker is fine because it'll force a Torrential Tribute if he has it, because like you can't let the Breaker resolve if he has it, or you're just going to get a +1 from Breaker, right? It's like the only thing I don't want to see is Torrential Tribute, or else it's just a +1. And if it's TT, I get to search my Sangan anyway. So I think not summoning the Breaker here is really too passive, because I think that they're more inclined, in their perspective, instead of summoning Breaker, I think we're going to be seeing a Dekoichi or a Shining Angel get set. But let's see what happens. Okay, so we swing for 1,000, we set Dekoichi, and we set Return. And it gets met with a Decree. So if you're a Dino, you love it, right? Like now you know exactly what to target with your Breaker. You'll just target the Decree. So now your third Dekoichi gets knocked, and LaBounty has no choice but to set his Regeki break. Now Breaker comes down and it'll take out the Decree. You're going to swing for 2,600, and then you're going to flip Return, and that's just game. There is not enough. Yeah, he's too low. He can't deal with it. He's going to be taking too much damage, and you're kind of just gambling that this isn't Mirror Force, which you kind of figure it's not. And that's it. That's game. So Dino wins a game here, which I don't think he exceptionally played well through the entire match. I do like how he played Game 4, and I like how he played most of Game 3. And Game 2, I guess, was okay. But Game 1, there was a critical mistake, and there was a lot of mistakes on Dino's part, but he ended up drawing well, and the return ended up paying dividends for him, bringing out this 1,400 beater in Dekoichi. And I have no complaints on what LaBounty played. Only one questionable play was choosing to take 1,400 and then end phase destroying the monster. I think if you're going to do that, you can just destroy the monster and save your 1,400. But I think LaBounty, with the cards that he was dealt, literally what he was, like the hand that he was dealt, right? He did a good job. Finding a way to get a tie was well done. So anyways, this will be the first game that I cover for the ACS 6. And we're going to have Dino advancing throughout the bracket now. And this will put him in the... After his game with LaBounty, this puts him in the finals. Yeah, this puts him in the finals. So now he's in the finals on the winner side, and this sends LaBounty to the loser side, where they unfortunately do lose to Spare. And we're not going to cover that game because we're only going to cover the top 4, really. So we're going to cover Spare versus 10-ply next. And thank you very much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this content, and I hope to see you at the next ACS. AJT BLS out, and have a great day.